as I was thinking about it, I thought, how do I create barriers? Do I actually think I'm being kind of authentic, but I get weird when I start to talk to people about Jesus? What does sharing Jesus in the context of honest, real relationship even look like? And am I actually doing that with my friends who aren't Christians? So I have a good friend named Jeff. We met in high school when I moved from Toronto up to this small town on Georgian Bay called Meaford, the town. And so I had just finished grade 10, moved up there for grade 11, 12, and OAC, when we still had OAC. And met Jeff, we became friends. And over the years, we've kind of gone in multiple different directions. But we kind of have this really interesting relationship. I really love Jeff. And when we spend time together, I always walk away feeling so encouraged. And naturally, my role here at the church, my love for Jesus, has often come out in our conversations. He knows all about it. But I started to think, hey, does Jeff actually feel like a target? Or does he feel like, no, Matt's just being authentic and real? And that's what I would want him to say. I would want him to be feeling like Matt can express his love for Jesus, that's fine. He may not want it, but I understand what Matt's talking about. In the same way, Jeff can talk about his family and the things he believes and the things he's interested in, I'll continue to care and be in honest, good friendship with him. It's not about a target or a formula. So I thought, I wonder what it would be like if I send him some questions and see if he'd be willing to let me know how I'm doing, just kind of hold up the mirror for me. Because I want Jeff to know Jesus. I think Jeff will be the most full and realized version of himself when he comes into relationship with Jesus. But at this point, Jeff isn't interested, and that's okay. It doesn't change our friendship. We're still friends. I still deeply care for him, even though we have these sporadic hangouts. And our hangouts usually look like, on Facebook, one of us will get in touch with each other and say, hey, you know the Husky Truck Stop Diner that's kind of between our houses? How about we meet for breakfast? So we'll make the drive in. We'll spend a couple hours talking. We'll always end the conversation saying, and we got to get together as families. Yeah. And then just life gets busy. It's okay. It's not his fault. It's not my fault. It's just reality. So I sent him a note, and I didn't know if he was going to respond back or what he would say, but I asked him these kind of questions. I'll just pick a few things out here. I said, as friends, when the topic of God comes up and I talk about my role at the church, does it ever put you in a weird spot? I asked, have I ever said anything in conversation that made you feel awkward? What are your thoughts on God and the fact that now you have a friend that's a pastor? Because when we were in high school hanging out, this was never part of the equation. Any other thoughts that jump to mind when you think about God? So he's writing this to me, so I'm not trying to make this self-serving that Matt's good. This is kind of a personal letter, but I want to just kind of hold this back to you because it's been an interesting learning for me. He said, over the years we've known each other, I've never felt weird about how strong your faith is. I feel really strongly that everyone has the right to choose to believe or not to believe in whatever they want. Do I find it weird or disturbing? Not at all. When you discuss your role and what you do for the church, I find it inspiring. He says, I believe someone has sent you to help people and to help me. If you were to straight up ask me if I believe in God, I'm not sure what my black and white answer would be. I don't believe it needs to be black and white. I believe that there's something else out there, but I'm not sure what. He wrote 3 pages. I was like, man, will he ever meet me for breakfast again? And then he says, under other thoughts, he says, I enjoy hearing about your life and what you do and what your congregation does. I talk a lot about my spiritual family. How they help people, how they care for people. It's important that we have these kind of people in the world that are willing to support others in such a selfless way. I enjoy hearing about your teachings, how you talk with people and families in need of a meal, a roof, or just an ear to listen to their story. I've never felt bombarded by anything revolving from your faith. It's not like you're jamming pamphlets down the throat of people as you go door to door, which is true. But Jeff helped hold up for me this sense of, for me to be just honest, I just want to be real. I don't want to impose my own sets of barriers and say, I would love to talk to someone about Jesus, but I'm creating my own barriers because I'm just afraid of what they say, or I have this reaction to what my perception of sharing my faith looks like. And I think we have to push through those things. I'm not sure what you would say, how you would identify what your barriers are, but I think we all have those things. Because sometimes I sense there's an opportunity in a conversation to bring Jesus, and people are kind of hinting around it, and I choose to set up my own barrier and my own way out of the conversation, and I take it. And I don't know, I walk away from those conversations sometimes, I'm like, why did I just do that? I totally had a chance just to say in a casual, honest way, because they are asking all about that. In home church this week, you're going to look at a passage in Acts chapter 8, where Philip is being prompted and led by the Holy Spirit, and he is willing to respond and hang out with this Ethiopian leader. And through that conversation, this guy is able to ask questions about Jesus. Philip's able to tell about the message of Jesus, and this guy makes a decision that he actually also wants to follow and be part of this movement, this spiritual family. But what does it look like for us to have honest, real relationships and to move forward in an authentic and truthful way? That when we talk about Jesus, it's actually more just a response because it's something that's naturally happening in us. It's not about a program or a formula or a big strategy.